After working on Aetherbound for about 2 months, I realized some important things about game design. First, it's difficult, and there is a reason why there are so few successful games compared to the player base. To be successful, and by successful I mean being able to generate a profit. I'm talking about profit because it takes money to do what we love. None of us, players, game masters, designers, etc., would be able to continue doing what we love without the money to support it. We would have to find another job to pay our living expenses and then find time outside of it to enjoy our games of choice. That being said, to make a successful game, we have to make it fun to play, unique, and be able to convince others to try it out. We already know about the first, so I won't go into too much detail in this video, but basically we need to create an interesting loop. The fight monsters, collect treasure, and level up loop of RPGs is time tested. The second requirement is much more interesting. Since committing myself to creating Aetherbound, I've done a lot of research. The idea of creativity is being revisited, especially thanks to the rise of AI. I was taught that creativity, genius, was something unique. It wasn't something that could be trained. I still have a lot to learn and a lot of books to read. Stephen King's own writing is one such book. At this point, I understand that most innovation is essentially a remix. Virgil Abloh, an American fashion designer, said, "To create something new, you need to make it 3% different than anything else." That percentage can be debated, but I hope the point is clear. Dungeons & Dragons was inspired by miniature war games, and its rule system was inspired by chainmail. Pathfinder was inspired by the D&D 3.5 system. Paizo took advantage of the discontent with the D&D 4e system and improved upon the 3.5 system. The rest is history. DC-20 is a new system that recently finished a $2.2 million Kickstarter. It took parts from D&D 5e and Pathfinder 2e. I love hearing success stories, especially when it involves an indie developer. You know, we can make a lot of excuses when it comes to doing stuff on our own. We can tell ourselves that we don't have the talents. Let's say we cannot draw, we cannot animate, we don't know how to code, but essentially Alan, the dungeon coach who created DC-20, he created the system. Of course, he had someone to draw the artwork. He had his wife who helped him with different things, but it required more experience playing games, different game systems, Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, Pathfinder 2e, iterating on those systems, changing things up, homebrewing, and eventually, like I outlined earlier, it spawns into a desire to create a new system. And it shows that any of us can do it, especially when we go through what I think is the normal process of playing RPGs or playing video games in general. We play the video games. Some of us, and when I mean some of us, a smaller percentage, I'm sure there's many of us who have played a video game and we liked it so much, but then we encountered a point where, okay, this game could be better in this part of, and then this game could be better in this way. And then you decide, okay, I'm going to stop talking about how this game could be better. Let's make it better. And then we get into modding. And then modding is like maybe, okay, I'm changing this, I'm changing that. Oh, I have this much power. Let me change this over here. And then it spawns into, okay, I want to make my own game. And then you start looking into game engines and all that stuff. But we're not going to go into the details. Let's continue. We can go on and on about these innovations. But We can boil everything down to creating the game we want to play. That is the one surefire way of making something unique. If we want to play Pathfinder, then we'll play Pathfinder. We wouldn't go out the way to create something else. It's the desire to play something that we can't yet describe that pushes us to create something new. First, it starts with a little homebrew, tweaking a trap here, a monster there. The next thing you know, you're creating your own monsters, encounters, adventures. Maybe your creativity is too great to be confined into the system you're using, and you aim to create another one. The third requirement comes down to basic marketing. We don't have to do anything fancy. I'm not taking things too seriously at this point. I'm just giving some updates during the creation process. As I am further along in the development process, I'll start showcasing artwork and devlogs. I'm confident that this is the way to go for anyone just starting out on their creative journey. If you related to this video, leave a comment and share your creative project. Leave a like to help this video reach other creative souls.